You said yesterday that Nico's going to win 10 Super Bowls and he is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and they're going to forego the 5 years of eligibility that you have to wait, and they're going to let him go straight in. That's what you said about Nico, wasn't it? The way I remember it is he specifically said, Caleb said, yes, the 5-year of eligibility rule will not apply to Nico Iamaleava. Isn't that what you said?
Basically, I mean, I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame now, guys. Okay.
Okay, set this
like,
up. Set up
Nico Iamaleava is going to dethrone Taylor Swift as Times Person of the Year next year. Okay, and I love Taylor. I mean, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. But next year, Nico Iamaleava, I cannot wait for his Eras tour, guys.
We got a lot of Swifties in this crew. All right, so somehow Jackson Ross ties into Nico.
I got the idea on this yesterday because Jackson Ross, we want to send him a shout out. He was named All SEC. He was named the All SEC freshman punter. So he's on the All SEC freshman team as a punter. So Punter U is back on Rocky Top, baby. Tennessee is Punter U again, and
that's great.
And it's not because of a Colquitt this time. So we got to get Jackson.
Basically, Tommy Townsend's had a great NFL career. If you just stop by for a while, if I were a punter, I'd take an official visit to Tennessee and then pick my school, knowing that I had stepped foot on campus and I will be a great punter in the NFL.
That's a great point because he lost his job to Trevor Daniel, who punted in the NFL. Chad Cunningham punted in the NFL. Matt Dart. I mean, Tennessee is punter, you guys, okay? And I hate punting, so y'all know how I feel about that. But
all right, give me back to
with that news and with the Heisman this weekend, I was thinking about future Tennessee awards, and I was thinking about Nico Iamaleava and the Heisman next year. And I asked myself, is it Heisman or bust for Nico Iamaleava next year? And I'm going to say yes, it's Heisman or bust for Nico next year.
No, it's insane.
It's Heisman or bust. If Nico doesn't win the Heisman, Josh Heupel should be fired because they will never reach the next level. It is Heisman or bust, provided he's healthy, provided everybody's healthy, and there aren't crazy injuries. It is Heisman or bust for Nico Iamaleava.
Okay, you realize it sounds crazy.
No,
you have to get. No, you have to go into it knowing that it sounds crazy. For anybody to say Heisman or bust, for anybody, if Caleb Williams comes back and they pick up 4 receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr. transfers to Southern Cal, and Lincoln Riley stays instead of the NFL, to still say anybody wins the Heisman or bust is insane. Right?
No.
You're not giving me that?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Nope.
Okay. I think that's insane. I think a first-year starter is absolutely insano. And Smoky Mountain Red says, you know Caleb is serious when Swift enters the conversation. Right. It just changes the tune.
Well,
you really believe this?
Swiftly.
Yeah, that's good. You really believe this? I will tell you this. Yes, SC Scout guy. I hope Caleb is joking, but it's not. If he is one of the top 3 quarterbacks at the end of next year in the SEC, Tennessee will have won 10 games. And I think they will do that. I think that will happen. I think he will be top 3 in the SEC and they'll win 10 games. That is my floor. That's my floor. I think it will get better. I could potentially get better than that. Obviously, we're not going to do predictions now. We want to see a lot. I think he's that good. I'm hearing he's that good. I'm hearing it's not close. So I think he'll be very, very good. As we discussed yesterday briefly, I think you need the hype. And I'm not sure that he's going to have that unless he plays in the Citrus Bowl.
Okay. So let's break down Josh Heupel real quick, because this is all about Josh Heupel. Dave, if Hendon Hooker didn't get hurt last year, he's going to New York, right?
Yes. No question.
Josh Heupel was hired because he was a quarterback guru who turns quarterbacks into superstars. And he did that with Hendon Hooker. And that's his calling card, right? What he does with quarterbacks.
Yes. Go ahead.
He staked his whole future as a quarterback guru. He staked the whole future of Tennessee football on the best recruit he ever got at quarterback in Nico Iamaleava, right?
Yes. He didn't even play him this year because he wanted to make sure everything was ready to go. And goodness knows he didn't want to get him hurt or didn't want him to get gun shy. Go ahead.
So he did all of that. A quarterback guru whose whole system is based on giving quarterbacks gaudy stats, who staked his whole future of a program on one quarterback. if he can't win if he and Nico can't win if he can't win a Heisman for Nico next year, then then he's coming up short on the one thing he's good at. So on the one thing that he staked everything on. This should be it. This is Nico's. Nico should be better than Hendon Hooker. We believe that, right? Hendon Hooker wasn't Heupel's guy. Nico is. Okay? Everything comes down to Nico. Everything is staked on Nico succeeding. Okay? This is like in 1994 when Tom Osborne got Tommy Frazier. If he wasn't going to win a national championship with Tommy Frazier, he was never going to win a national championship. And everybody knew that. Okay? If Josh Heupel can't turn Nico into a Heisman winner, not contender, a Heisman winner, Josh Heupel will not be cut out for the job. If Steve Spurrier can get Danny Warfel to win a Heisman as an offensive guru, and we're calling Josh Heupel the Steve Spurrier of today, Nico, I expect 50 touchdowns, 4,500 yards next year through the air. I'm saying, and by the way, also, you told me this, Heupel likes stats. He purposely tries to get his quarterback stats.
That's a great point I hadn't thought about. All right, so Mead Drinker puts this question up. How many games will it take for Nico to put college football on notice? I'm going to answer that right now. Let me tell you about Don Self. Customer service still matters. Call 423-396-2126 or go to donself.net. He's a State Farm agent, and his team, they take customer service seriously. For well over 40 years. That's almost older than Nico's parents. They have built their business and reputation on taking care of their customers. It might actually be Greater Chattanooga area. Don Self. There is no other. Don Self. State Farm. Greater Chattanooga area. donself.net. How many games does it take for Nico to put college football on notice? Uno. And it's called Hammering the Mocks in the opener. Sunday, what is
first? Sunday, September the 1st.
Sunday, September the 1st will be one of your favorite days for those that are Tennessee fans on here. Will be one of your favorite days as a Tennessee football fan. Because those of you that are younger than me, so I'll be maybe 50 next year. Those of you that are 35 or younger, which would include you, Caleb, that will be in your adult life one of your favorite days, Tennessee football fans, to be a Tennessee Big Orange UT fan, because he's going to light it up against the Mocs. I will go ahead and tell you that Nico is going to throw for over 400 yards, will score at least 5 touchdowns, and his completion percentage, here's the difference. His completion percentage will be 70 plus. And we're not going to have any questions unless Tennessee's receivers can't catch about throwing a heavy football or about accuracy. If you agree, hit like and subscribe. Doesn't matter if you agree, I'm right.
There's 2 layers to this, and I'm with you. That's when he puts the college football world on notice within college football circles. You want to know when he becomes the Heisman frontrunner? You ready for this, Dave? When he becomes the Heisman frontrunner and never lets it go, want to know the game? Ready?
Yes.
It's going to be week 4, guys. Tennessee opens SEC play week 4 at Oklahoma. That game is going to be that game will be the centerpiece of that week. If you guys have looked at the SEC schedule, the whole college football world will be watching that game because it's the best SEC game of the week by far. Maybe the best national game of the week, and it's Josh Heupel going back to Oklahoma. Everybody's going to be watching that game. And I believe Nico's going to light it up against Oklahoma because I know Brett Venables is a good defensive coach, but it hasn't translated to Oklahoma since he's been there, honestly, as a head coach. So I think Nico is going to light up Brent Venables in front of the national college football world. And on Sunday, September the 22nd, and on Monday, September the 23rd, you will hear First Take and on Undisputed and all these national TV shows talk about this Nico Iamaleava is a heck of a quarterback. This dude is special. And he will become the Heisman frontrunner that day, and he's not giving it up. It's happening.
I'll tell you what somebody in the program told me yesterday. I can't remember if I mentioned this. I asked somebody, I said, would you bet a week's pay he's going to be very good? I said, I bet a month's pay. And this is the guy who was being objective. Bet a month's pay he would be very, very, very good. That's pretty strong.
That is. That is.
We're not talking about chicken feed money anyway. For the record,
guys. Here's a story for you. When Nico arrived last year as an early enrollee, Taven Jackson, Josh Heupel's first signing at quarterback, immediately entered the transfer portal. He knew day one he wasn't going to be as good as Nico in the future, and that's saying something. And from everything I've heard, Dave, not only was Nico great when he arrived, he's actually gotten better since then. So it wasn't like he had a low ceiling that he had already reached.
Now, and as far as this post by Ed, it's fair. Still going to need an offensive coordinator, offensive line, and guys that can get open and catch the ball. It's not about Nico. First of all, the offensive coordinator is Josh Heupel. I mean, if you want to get mad at Joey Halsley and say that he's the reason Tennessee struggled, that's fine. But it was execution. It was not game planning. It wasn't any of that stuff. Josh Heupel is your offensive coordinator. So if you don't like the offensive coordinator, you don't like the head coach. That's a fact. Offensive line depends on Cooper Mays, but the offensive line could have 4 or 5 starters returning, right? So they could be very good. And they were good when Cooper was healthy. Hopefully we link up with Cooper soon to get his thoughts on what he's going to do as far as his final season of eligibility. But I think there's a good chance Tennessee keeps Cooper on campus. Now, the receivers we've addressed, they need a number one. So I will definitely give Ed that. Ed, that's a great point. But I just kind of feel like they'll find it. And I still believe to some extent, this system is going to make receivers, quarterbacks, all offensive players probably a little bit better than they are. We went too far that way with Jalen Hyatt and Hendon Hooker. We went a little too far, didn't we? The system.
We did. I thought Jalen Hyatt was a total product of the system. I didn't think he was.
I did too.
Right.
I did too. But with the right talent, it's going to make everybody a little bit better. Squirrel White's going to be the guy that's going to have just a mega year next year.
Yeah. Oh, he's absolutely going to have a mega year. Nico throwing him. And by the way, I'm telling you, it's either going to be Brew McCoy or Mike Matthews. Mike Matthews is going to be a freshman All-American next year if Brew McCoy doesn't come back. And yeah, this is
freshman All-American though. I can roll with that. It's your Heisman talk. Hip House.
Nico is winning the Heisman, and it is a bust. Josh Heupel's a bust if he doesn't win it next year, if everybody's healthy.
Gosh. I don't know if he's saying that jokingly or not. I do what I can, guys.